verse number 25. All right, watch this. Verse 25.
When he went to his master, Elisha asked him, "Where have you been, Gehazi?" "I have not been anywhere," he replied. But Elisha asked him, "Don't you realize that I was there in the spirit when Naaman stepped down from his chariot to meet you? Is this the time to receive money and clothing, olive groves and vineyards, sheep and cattle, and male and female servants? Because you have done this, you and your descendant will suffer from Naaman's leprosy forever." When Gehazi left the room, he was covered with leprosy. His skin was white as snow.
The Lord bless the reading of his word. Please be seated quickly. In a few minutes, I'm just going to try to work something out. Then we will pray. Somebody shout amen. Amen. Now listen, the Bible said something. There was a long war between the house of David. Somebody say house.
House.
I want you to underline the word house. There was a long war between the house of David and the house of Saul. And the Bible said that the house of David grew weaker. The house of Saul grew weaker and weaker, while the house of David grew stronger and stronger. It is the battle about the house. What house are you from? It is the battle about the house.
Yes, sir.
What house are you from? Hear me. You are a product of the house where you come from.
Yes, sir.
You are a product of the house where you come from. It's a long war between the house of David and the house of Saul.
Yes, sir.
And as a result of the war, hear me, child of God, every time there is a war between two houses, now we are warring. Why? Somebody started something somewhere and we are warring. And it is war between the house. When we talk about the house, we talk about family.
Yes,
when we talk about house, we talk about family.
Yes.
Somebody say, I hear you.
I hear you, sir.
So when we talk about house, we are talking about family. Now you will see in verse number 26, the Bible told us how Joab drew Abner and stabbed him to death in the 5th ribs. And the Bible said, when it was told to David, David as the king and as the president of that time, something happened. There was some kind of misdemeanor from Abner, and the Bible told us how it was that the king, the president, didn't do that. The president should have followed the law.
Yes, sir.
But the law also gave the president power to. Then he stabbed him to death. When David learned about it, David understand what happens when a blood is shed.
Yes, sir.
And because the blood will cry. In the book of Genesis chapter number 4, the Bible said the blood of Abel cried from the ground.
Yes,
so David understand the consequences of bloodshed and bloodletting. And David said, he said, I and my kingdom,
yes,
we are exempted and guiltless of the blood and of whatever consequences that this blood that will come about by the reason of this bloodshed. I and my kingdom. In other words, I and my house, by extension, all those that I govern, I declare them exempted from this curse. But you, let this curse trouble you and your father's house. The devil entered into the house.
Yes, sir.
And when the devil entered into the house, now hear me, David didn't say, hey, Joab, that you will suffer this alone forever. He said, you and your father's house.
Yes, sir.
What is the consequences? You and your father's house. Now, one man has done something, but many people will suffer.
Yes,
you and your father's house, curses, as a result of the blood that was shed.
Yes, sir.
If you read verse 28, 29, David said, you're going to read it for me in 2 Samuel 3. David said, let it not cease to be in the house of Joab, one with an issue. That is to say, listen carefully, let it not cease. That means in the house of Joab, anybody that comes out from that family, they will always have issue. What does it mean to have issue? Anywhere you go, you will have issue. You enter into marriage, you will have issue with the marriage. You get a job, you will have issue. You go